friends. Thanks for tuning back in to Chris D Redefined. And as promised, I am going to talk today a little bit about my Philadelphia Eagles. Those of you who know me for some time, all my friends out there know that I live and breathe Eagles football. When my son was small, we're talking just old enough to, walk and understand a little bit and hold something, I've been bringing him, when I lived on Maui, the games would come on, the 1 o'clock games would come on at 7 a.m. And I had, since my son was 8, I've had a Jeep that was covered from bumper to bumper in Eagles paraphernalia, from from tire valve covers to spare tire cover, you name it, stickers and bumper stickers all over my vehicle in Philadelphia Eagles. And I would wash it at 6 a.m. to be at the bar with my son. The bars on Maui would be open at 7 a.m. I'd be at the bar with my son in tow, sleepy, and we'd eat breakfast, and I would watch Eagles football, and then we always went to a bar where there was a pool table, and then I would let him pretend to play pool and play with him while I was watching the game to keep him entertained. And so my son is not a football player, but football fan at all. He's certainly not a football player. He weighs all of 60 pounds, but he's not a football fan. And he told me years later, I only really like it because you like to go, Mom. And I was like, yeah, I know. But I brought him to 1 or 2 Eagles football games. The one where we won against the Rams at the Coliseum, one of the last football games played at the Coliseum in LA. I flew him out there and we both watched that Rams game. I think it was, I forget what year it was, 2018 maybe. But I'm getting ready for the season, the 2025-2026 season. And those of you who are avid, sick football fans, you've got one of these and you know exactly what it is. It's your team schedule with all the details for the upcoming games. So the ones that have, I don't know if you could see it, they're kind of marked in greenish. Those are home games. And then I have the date, the time, even what network it's being shown on. Not for me, but for friends that ask me or my family. It's do you know what network it's on, Chris? I don't see it. Then I can say it's on Fox or it's on CBS. Not for me, because I stream on a website that is covers all sports events for free. That's all I'll say about that. But I get it here in Europe. As long as you have a VPN, I can get it. So let's talk a little bit of Philadelphia Eagles. I'm a football fan, and I love all football. I'll watch any good football rivalry, any good football game. But because I live here in Portugal now, here's a good example. My opening game comes on at 1:20 in the morning here. I'm not watching any other games. I can't. I gotta sleep, right? So the only game I'm gonna watch is my Eagles game. Kansas City comes on at 9:25. This is a more decent one. This has got to be a 1 p.m. game back in Philly. It's coming on at 6 p.m. over here. And that's that LA Rams game. So I really just stick to Philadelphia Eagles game watching, and then as we get further, and I pay attention to all the other NFC teams certainly, but and I'll do an NFL wrap up, kind of Red Zone. I'll watch 1 or 2 episodes of Red Zone or something just to catch up on the other teams in the league. But I stick pretty much to NFC teams that I watch, especially our big rivals, like the Rams, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, all of the, there's the airplanes, all of the NFC playoff game rivals. So I pay attention to those teams. But let's go through the Philadelphia Eagles schedule. Those of you who love Philadelphia Eagles, let's go through the schedule. And I don't really have a prediction. I'm not stupid. No, actually, I did have a prediction, didn't I? Okay, I wrote down my predictions over here. Win-loss, question mark, and then what the actual was. And I even did the preseason up here. So, will we make it back to the Super Bowl? We have had a lot of turnover in our defense. We, for monetary reasons, we had to let go of a number of our players, CJGJ, which everyone regrets, because the player we got in exchange for him, turned out we cut him. So in effect, we got almost nothing for cutting CJGJ, and he was an exceptional safety. And then, of course, we couldn't afford Darius Slay anymore. Slay. He doesn't like to be called Darius. So Slay, we had to cut Slay. And then we also lost a defensive lineman in there, and I can't think of who. Anyway, I'm not sure. I love Vic Fangio, of course. He has worked out to be a fantastic asset as our defensive coordinator, and he developed our Philadelphia Eagles into the #1 defense in the league, which is one of the big reasons why we won the Super Bowl last season. So let's take a look. We open our season with Dallas at home at the Link. Going to be on NBC. That comes on at 7:20 p.m., 8:20 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know. I'm waking up at 1:20 a.m. to watch that game. So that's going to be Thursday night game, September 4th. The next week, we're up against Kansas City in Kansas City. I think we're going to lose that one. Dallas, I think we win. He got traded. Micah Parsons, you all know this if you're football fans, got traded over to Green Bay. We'll be playing them later in the season, but I think we can take Dallas. Jerry Jones is such a good friend of the Philadelphia Eagles. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing as their owner and GM. He's just he has dementia, and he's running his team, and that's great for us. I'm happy for Eagles that Dallas always messes up in some way. Okay, September 14th, we're playing Kansas City. Honestly, I think we lose that. I think Kansas City will be mad at us for beating them in the Super Bowl. They'll come out strong. They're in their home. And now that Travis Kelce is engaged to Tay-Tay, he'll want to show off, and so I think Kansas City's going to take that one. That's going to be on September 14th. Sunday after that, LA Rams. It's going to be at the Link, so that's a positive. Whenever a team flies from the West into the East, it's difficult on their players. They're out of schedule, but still, they are a tough opponent. They almost took us out last season, so that one's up in the air. I've got a question mark with a hopeful W next to it. Tampa Bay, I think we're going to lose that one for some reason. Tampa Bay always has our number. We generally lose to Tampa Bay, and we're playing down in Florida. So I think we're going to lose that one. That's September 28th. Oh, my brother's birthday. And so then we come to week 5, Denver Broncos. And we got that one. That's going to be at the Link. And I only have to be awake at 6 p.m. Okay, good. I love 6 p.m. games. I can go to bed at a decent time, and by then my classes start at the university, and it's rough. Okay, let me explain my life to you. Next week after that, we got the New York Giants, and that is out in the Meadowlands. That comes on at 1:15 a.m. So my life is that when an Eagles game comes on, and I know it's going to come on at 12:30 at night or 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, that means I have to be asleep by 7 p.m. so that I can get at least 5.5 hours of sleep before I go to school. So if a game comes on at 1:20, each game is 3.5 hours. So 1:20, 4:20, 4:20, and then that means another half hour, close to 5 a.m., and 5 a.m. is when I wake up. And I also watch at least one post-game show after the game, and so I don't get any sleep. So I have to go to sleep by 7 p.m. the night before a game, or the night of a game, so that I can get some decent sleep, because I have to be at school at 8 a.m., and I usually walk to school, so I got to leave the house at 7:20, so that I can get to school on time, grab a cup of coffee in the cafe at school, and sit and be there for class on time. So it's going to be rough this semester, because I'm also involved in a couple of political activist groups here in Portugal, and that on top of a really tough semester coming up in my language course is going to be rough. Anyway, Thursday, October 9th, that's a Thursday night game. Maybe I'll have Fridays off from school. That comes on at 1:15. New York Giants in the Meadowlands. We should kick their butts. Then we've got the Vikes playing in Minnesota. 6 o'clock game. I've got us at a win there. I got to pay attention. I don't know what the Vikes look like in the postseason, or in the pre and postseason. I don't know what they did in the off season as far as player, acquiring new players and coaches. Sunday, October 26th, 5 p.m. 5 p.m. That must be the first game. That's the first game. Oh, it's maybe the time change. With the time change, the daylight savings time change. New York Giants at Philadelphia. We've got that. That's a win. Then our bye week is week 9. We got a rest there. Hopefully we can get through our injuries and work through that. Monday, November 10th. Oh, golly. Wow, I have 2 rough weeks. Green Bay, 1:20 in the morning. I don't know. I have a question mark next to that one. They picked up Micah Parsons now. That's going to be a rough game. It's going to be in Green Bay. And I got to wake up at 1:20 in the morning. And another 1:20 in the morning game right after that. Another NFC North team. Sunday, November 16th, 1:20 a.m. against Detroit. And those of you that don't know football and you think Detroit sucks, you haven't been watching the last 3 years. Detroit is a formidable force in the NFC. They're in Philly, so we could take that one, but I have a question mark next to that. The Bears at the link the next week, November 28th, right before Thanksgiving, I think, or day after Thanksgiving. That's 8 p.m. game for me, my time in Portugal. So Bears, we should take that one. That's a win. Then we've got the Chargers on December 8th. That's another 1:20 a.m. in the morning game. Oh no, I skipped Dallas. Dallas is Sunday, November 23rd, 9:25. Dallas in Dallas. I've got to win there. Okay, back to week 14, Monday, December 8th. 1:20 game for me in Portugal. LA Chargers. I got a question mark there. I'm not sure why. I think it's maybe the travel. Not sure why. I think Monday Night Football throws us off, the travel. We do have a long week. Those are long weeks, and we might win that game. I'll just put that as a weird. You always lose one weird game. Those of you that know football, there's always one game where your team gets kind of like caught off guard, and all of a sudden you're losing a game you should win. It happens every season. You've got at least one game on your schedule like that. Then Sunday, December 14th, we've got the Vegas Raiders in the link. That's at 6 p.m. my time, so that's an early game. I've got to win there. And then we've got, who did we just pick up from the Raiders? We just picked up somebody from the Raiders. Marcus Epps? I think it was Marcus Epps. We brought him back to the Eagles as our backup safety. Saturday, December 20th, we're up against the Commies. They always put the Commies at the end of our schedule. And so the Commies, and that is to be announced. The time for that game is to be announced. And that's going to be in Washington, D.C. Then we have the Bills, Sunday the 28th, December 28th. That's a 9:25 p.m. game against the Bills in New York. I got that as a loss. That one's going to be rough. And then our last game on the schedule is Sunday, January 4th against the Commies at the link. And that time is also to be announced, going to be flexed depending on, depending on the other games on the schedule that week. So my prediction, I'm not going to go with numbers because there were some games that I just had no idea whether we were going to win or lose. My prediction is that we get to at least divisional round of the playoffs, if not the conference. I don't think we can get back to the Super Bowl. All you guys that are Eagles fans out there, I'm a true Eagles fan. So I don't play like, oh, my team's always going to go to the Super Bowl. No, Eagles fans are smart enough. We know football well enough to know that we are up against what the second toughest schedule in the league. And it's tough. We're playing some really rough teams on their turf. And so I'm not pie in the sky. I think we can, I'm sure we can get to divisional playoffs, and maybe the conference. Not sure about the Super Bowl, guys. We'll see. You just never know how it's going to work out. We picked up some great rookies. I'm looking forward to seeing Campbell at our edge positions. At our edge position, we've got, Cooper DeJean's coming back, Quinyon Mitchell's coming back. Of course, we've got our stars on the offense, so that stayed pretty the same. And I like that we have Kevin Patullo replacing, oh my goodness, who was our old OC that went on to head coach of New Orleans. Can't even think of his name now. But anyway, Kevin Patullo has been with our coach, Nick Sirianni, for years now. So it's not like we're changing a lot of scheme stuff, maybe some little nuances. But that's my wrap up on my Philadelphia Eagles schedule. Go Birds! We'll see you back here at Chris D. Redefined.